Women are more likely to talk and listen than fight. I would like you to meet one of the inspirations of my life. This is Deputy Rose Mendoza. She was about 4'10" and about 95 pounds soaking wet. And she was one of the very first females to be brought into the Bay County Jail as an equal officer, as just an officer that deals with males and females alike. And a lot of the men, she got a lot of pushback. She was like the first one. She got a lot of pushback. Oh no, she's too small, she's gonna get hurt, and we're gonna get hurt having to protect her. That was another one. And well, no, this isn't gonna work out. That is probably the bravest person that I ever met in that facility. Because she communicated. I saw her reduce 300-pound men to tears with a finger. She'd come after them like, you know, their mother. Nah, 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 nah. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It was funny as hell to watch. She saved my ass a few times too, right? Because I was young and brash, and I used to do some stupid things when I was young. I shouldn't tell you guys this, but I did. And there was one night when both of us were working booking and intake, and that was another thing. Oh, 2 females in booking and intake, they can't do that. They won't be able to control the prisoners. Yeah, not a problem. So they bring a guy in. He's big, you know, much larger than me, and he's really drunk. I mean, he was so drunk he could hardly stand up. And he was being disruptive, so we put him back in a segregation cell. And we've taken everything off of him, you know, that he could hang himself with, we thought. But he's wearing a pair of sweatpants and a t-shirt. Well, we're watching him on the camera, and he takes his sweatpants off, and he takes one leg and ties it around his neck, and he works the other up into the jamb of the door, which was an impossible situation because there were magnetic locks that went the entire length of the door. So he wasn't going to get it up there, but I mean, okay, we're watching on camera. It's very clear that he has some sort of a suicidal intent, which means we have to act. So me, cocky, arrogant, young, said, don't you worry. I said, I'll go in there and I'll get those sweatpants from him. And Officer Mendoza looks at me and says, I don't think that's a good idea. She said, why don't you wait for backup? I'm calling right now. Nah, I got this. So I grab the keys, and under more protest, I go out, I key open the door, and the guy sees me. Fortunately, she's called backup, but the guy sees me, and he jumps up and he grabs his sweatpants, and he's got them hugged to his chest. I said, give me the sweatpants. He tells me that I should go have sex with myself, but he didn't use those words exactly. I said, give me the sweatpants. Well, now he's got them off of his neck, and he's just holding them. So I figured, not a problem. I'll grab the sweatpants real quick, and I'll exit real fast before, because he's really drunk, you know, but he's way bigger than me. Give me the sweatpants. He says some more choice words. So I just grab them, and I yank, expecting him to be surprised and let go. Well, that's not what happened. He still hung on to them. So I got him, he's got him, and so I pulled. And he takes about a step forward, but bear in mind, he's much larger than me, so he pulls back, and I go flying through the air, and smack, I hit him. Well, now I'm mad. Is that right? So I wind him up around my wrist, and I yank back even harder. And I pull him about 2 steps forward. He yanks back harder, smack. This happens, we've been going back and forth, you know, about 3 or 4 times now. I'm getting madder by the second. And I'm also realizing that I'm in a situation that I've bit off more than I can chew. So about the last time I went smack, I'm like, I got to get out of here before I get hurt. I'm realizing, smack. Punched him in the nose. Ah! He lets out a howl. Let's go with the sweatpants. I grab the sweatpants. I turn around to exit, and there is Deputy Mendoza standing in the door. And did I mention she was 6 months pregnant too? Now, I don't know what she could have done, but she was there. She had my back, and she's, you know, I mean, I think she was going to jump on his back and claw his eyes out. I really do. And she didn't even hesitate. She put herself in harm's way without any hesitation. I wish I could say that about some of the men I worked with. Because some of the men I worked with, honest to God, you could get out the yellow paint and run a yellow stripe right up their back. You didn't want them to be anywhere near you when something was going down. So in this case, size really doesn't matter. She was a pro at de-escalating. She really was. And, of course, chivalry is not dead. You might be surprised to know this. But even today, males are less likely to assault a female CO. Because how does this benefit them? Because then all the other prisoners hear that he hit somebody, a woman, smaller than him. Oh, you're a real man. And then they get pushback from it, right? So they don't gain anything by assaulting a female CO, and mostly it doesn't happen. It's more likely to happen in jails because people are coming in drunk and high. You know, I've gotten clipped a few times dealing with people who were intoxicated or high, you know, I mean, trying to get them under control. I've gotten clipped accidentally. I've had females come after me. Female inmates will go after a female officer. Oh, they will. They want a piece of you. I had one that used to ask for me by name. Yeah. Hey, Whitaker, your buddy's in here. She's asking for you. So I'd have to go down there and get her under control. And of course, it was a big show for everybody else. Usually she was really drunk or high, and I just, slam her to the floor and put the cuffs on. We're done. But she always wanted to fight me. The only time in my entire career that I ever had a male intentionally take a swing at me was when we were breaking up a fight between two guys. And these guys were cellmates. They were bunkies. And they were actually good friends. And, to pass the boredom in their cells, they were playing the Yo Mama game. You all know that game, right? Where you try to disrespect the other person's mama and you one-up them. Well, apparently one guy struck a nerve and the other guy took issue with it. And next thing you know, there's a big fist fight. Now these are both big boys. They're about 18, 19 years old with, about yay tall and shoulders here and about 2 1/4 apiece. And they're going at it hammer and tongs. So somebody rings the emergency alarm. I go running down there with another small male officer about my size. And this is the strangest story. We still talk about this sometimes. But it was like we had ESP with each other. We never spoke. We never talked about it. But without even hesitating, just instinctively, it seemed like we went back to back and slid in behind these two behemoths and popped them apart. And he grabbed one, I grabbed the other, and we took them outside of the cell block because, you don't want to deal with them in the cell block because they're putting on a show. So we get them outside of the cell block. And the guy that I've got, he turns around and he says, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, please forgive me, I'm so, so sorry. And I said, well, what's there to be sorry about? Why don't you our friends shake hands, let's kiss and make up here. He says, no, you don't understand, I'm so sorry I hit you. And this was a big kid. I said, you didn't hit me. I didn't? I'm like, no, you didn't hit me. He says, oh, well, I was trying to. He was angry because we were breaking up the fight. Right? So he swung at me. I'm guessing that he connected with his buddy. Because if he had hit me as big as he was and as small as I am, it probably would have been a trip to the dentist or the hospital or both, right? That was the only time in my entire career. So, this whole females need to be all big, bad, and strong, not so much. That women's presence would be disruptive, myth. The fact is, all male environments are abnormal. All female environments are abnormal. God made males and females for a reason, right? We smooth out each other's rough edges. I went on an all-female backpacking trip one time. Oh my God, never again. God made men for a reason. God made women for a reason. And we're supposed to smooth out each other's rough edges. And that's exactly what happens here. So you've got this environment that's incredibly testosterone-laden. And everybody's all about, I'm big, I'm bad, and then women come in. And so here's what happens, right? Because in the real world there are men and women, there are men and women now. And so it dilutes all that testosterone. And what we found out is once women started working in the male housing units, they got cleaner. They actually cleaned their rooms. They paid better attention to their personal hygiene. They even checked their language. If I had a nickel for every time a male inmate swore in front of me and then clapped his hand over his mouth, got his eyes big and said, oh, I'm sorry, well, I'd be very rich. They'll do that. And here you can see, although many women now work as correctional officers in men's prisons, they still face challenges, and we do, but not nearly the way we used to. Inmate privacy would be violated. You know what the court said about that? Who cares? Now, you don't have to know this case law, but Gunther versus Iowa said that inmate privacy is not a valid reason to refuse to hire women as COs for male prisons. It's just not. So we provide privacy partitions, and we advise male inmates that there are women on the floor, so they need to take proper precautions about their modesty. Wear a towel going to the shower. When you know the count's happening, put something on. Right? Don't be shagging around your cell all naked. So the court said, so what? Who cares? We don't care. Well, hire all the women you want.